Rod has the floor. Rod has the floor. Welcome
Hey, hey.
everyone to Karmic Dynasty. I am Joyous Ram here unexpectedly. Definitely though tonight here we have Rod Hayes, Chief Pontiac, the Sik Ape. He is here to speak to you all. Now tonight we are here on a Q&A. Rod Hayes would like to address everyone's questions, and he's got them answers for y'all. And we're going to vibe and flow right now. Again, welcome to Karmic Dynasty. If Rod would introduce himself to everyone, and again, welcome to Karmic Dynasty.
Thank you for having me. You did pretty good at the introduction. I think that most of the people that's going to be watching already know who I am, so we can go on into the Q&A. We can start with your questions, and then we can go from your questions to audience questions.
Okay, so I'm going to open tonight's Q&A. I've been watching you, and I've had my own experiences with being blocked. Share with us why some of the reasons you've been blocked from different social media platforms.
Look,
And we're
I've been
glad you're not blocked right now anywhere.
No, unfortunately, I'm not, except for Facebook. I've been in Facebook jail for 2 years. Now, watch this. Every time they put me back in Facebook jail or give me an extension, and they say for violating community standards, and I go to see what I did, there's nothing there. Like absolutely nothing there. And it'll say appeal this decision, and I appeal to your decision. But at the top of my page, where all that stuff is at, it said there's nothing wrong with your page. I'm gonna do some screenshots and send to you for next. And Instagram, when the people start asking questions about what's going on in the Middle East or what's going on with the Jabberwocky and all that stuff, they was blocking me before for answering those questions, right? So they just just like to block me because where there is no obstacle, there is no progress. The obstacle is the way. So when they block me from one platform, it just shift me to a different one.
All right. King Adonis, welcome. I know King Adonis has been on one of your IG lives, and so that was a great presentation. So you're on your IG. You always, well, a lot of times you have guests on your IG.
Mm-hmm.
And so, have you ever been blocked because of something that one of your guests had done?
If they do, they don't tell me it's my guest. They normally tell me that when they block me that I violated some community standard, and normally I can't never find what standard they saying I'm blocking. It's normally more arbitrary than based on some actual information.
Okay, because I asked because a few times I have been blocked. My platform has been blocked because of something one of my guests has said. So I was just wondering if that anything like that had ever happened to you, and how you handled that guest reappearing on your platform. Now, the one guest who did that, I let them back on like 2 more times. But the second guest who did something and got me blocked, got my platform blocked, I didn't let them back on.
Well, it depends on if they know what they doing or not. Some people will just ask an innocent question.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then those platforms will block you because they it's AI running that stuff. So they put keywords. If keywords, like if you try to follow me on my page, some people get an alert. Say, you sure you want to follow this guy? He trouble.
What?
Yeah.
You know, I had sent you a friend request on Facebook. It's still pending. So you probably ain't got the notification, huh? And that's why.
You know, I had reached my limit, and then I had to wait for Facebook because they'll start deleting your friends. They'll
I know.
automatically they'll just start deleting your friends, and now next thing I know, I got 20 open slots, and I take 20 people.
Yeah, that's happened to me.
Yeah.
Recently, somebody in my phone was blocked. I was like, this person is not supposed to be blocked in my phone. This technology do what it want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They
It's
allow it
just
to.
it's the AI, it's the algorithm. It's reading algorithm, right? That's why it's so important for us to talk about our organic status on these topics because AI know what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we alter the algorithm by having the conversations dealing with the history, the concealment of the tribes, etc. You
Okay.
hear feedback?
Hmm.
Did you hear feedback?
No, I hear stuff in my background. So you might
I was
hear
getting
stuff in my.
feedback. I turned my volume down. It might help.
Okay. Um. Let me. Maybe you know what. Let's check this out. Everyone, how are y'all receiving the sound? Also, if you have any questions, go ahead, type those in the comment section. And while we're making possible audio adjustments, definitely everyone comment, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Definitely check out the IG right here for Rod. You're not familiar with his IG, go over there and follow him, check him out. So we had a meeting before. I was at a meeting with you, and one of the things that I forgot to ask you during that meeting, with everything that was going on the agenda for that meeting, I had heard you on a platform, and you were talking about women getting together from different organizations and meeting together. And I was wanting to know locally, because you were talking about the women in the communities and like the women that come out of the NOI, for example, the different in the churches. And I was just wondering what things can be done to help those women out. Like, what can I do? How do I get involved? What's the contact for that movement that those women are being a part of?
Well, there's no specific movement. When you hear me talking about that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about reorganizing the matriarchs.
Okay.
So I'm talking about where do you find them at, right?
Okay.
So when you're looking for them, I'm telling you all of the places where they at, right? And the more sister groups we get that's focused on the healing of the sisters, the faster this process moves.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm hearing that there is an echo. Um, let me see. I know I had got an error message in the studio that, let me see. Are you using Safari? Did you use the link in Safari, Rod?
I'm in
Google Chrome.
yeah.
Okay. If you would leave the studio and then use that link in hold on. In Google Chrome. Hold on. You on an Android?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Android is Chrome. So I'm not sure why there's an echo. Let me see. Yeah, Android is Chrome. Okay, so I'm not sure not my echo. Okay. Hold on for me. Guests on your IG. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I'm not hearing the echo. Blocked because of something that one of your guests had done.
I'm gonna try to go out and come back in.
Yeah, there's no feedback in YouTube, so there's no feedback. For some reason,
I
people
can
have
hear
the
it.
echo. You hear the echo?
Yeah.
Okay,
When
so
I'm
yeah,
talking, yeah, when I start
hold on, try
talking,
it
then
now.
it start coming in.
Okay, try it now. Say something.
How do I sound to you? Okay, right now there's no echo.
Okay, so when you speak, I need to mute my mic.
That might
Do
help.
you hear the echo now when I talk?
Uh-uh. I'm not hearing it
Just
now. I'm not hearing it on me either.
okay, cool. We all good. If they come back up, Rod, let me know and I'll mute my mic because sometimes
Okay.
we had that studio feedback. All right, so all is good. Thank you everyone for sharing. Again, Rod is here taking questions, open panel Q&A. If and again, open panel. So if anyone would like to come up here as a guest, I am going to put the link in the comment section on YouTube. And so this link will go in Karmic Dynasty YouTube channel. This link is also going on ShereeReed YouTube channel, as well as Tribe Up 777999. Those are the platforms we are streaming to. And as everyone shares this out and you want to come on the panel, go ahead and feel free to, but you'll need to get your link from ShereeReed hashtag Unoccupied Turtle Island on YouTube and or on the Karmic Dynasty channel or on Tribe Up 777999. And again, we have Rod here. He says all y'all who come in here know who he is. So don't be giving him that long introduction that I gave him. He's so honorable and humble. Goodness. All right, so he calls it chief and we calling it Q&A tonight. So okay, so again, so with the women, they are just the rise of the matriarchs amongst us. And you were just sharing that some of the places that
Right.
those
So
matriarchs can be seen.
when we look back at our history, one of the things Dr. King said is that what we need to be more organized. They don't got more money than us. And the only thing they got us beat in is organizing. So if you're gonna organize, then you have to start with who you organizing. That's the first question. Who you organizing? I'm trying to raise the matriarchy and kick the imposters out. So I had to give competent or cohesive instruction to the sisters on how do they find matriarchs, because the law of the land over here in the Americas is mama's rules, right? Mama's rules is what we call the great law. It's called the great law because it overrides all existing laws of man, which comes from a spiritual place, not a physical place. So we need to learn how to organize. I got a couple of videos out where I go through systematically taking over the city. Local government is more important than federal government. If the local government is dysfunctional, then that's what causes the people to suffer in the local area. If the federal government is dysfunctional, the only way the people are going to know it is when the dysfunctional federal government run into a dysfunctional local government. And then you will have a situation like I think it was Cincinnati or Cleveland that shut down January the 1st. No police, nobody at City Hall. They was just closed because they was bankrupt. Right? Well, what do we do about that? You have to reorganize, create a whole new city council. You got to go door to door, grassroots effort. 98% of us not finna do that because we too lazy. We don't give a fuck how much power gonna come at the end. It's the work that they looking at. They not looking at the end result. I hate social media. But my elders told me social media is the platform because they're gonna use the movement of the algorithm to determine where we at in the development. Right? So you got people that think I'm just the internet chief. Oh, he is the internet chief. Okay. but they never walked with me, right? They never had any conversation with me. They just got an opinion, and we all got assholes. So when you come with an opinion, I'm not finna argue with that. It's your opinion. You got a right to believe whatever you want to, and I got a right to be right and not give a fuck what you believe.
That's right. That's right. I agree. And everybody who know Karmic Dynasty knows I'm on that same path. Now we do have another question, and this is from King, and he wants to know if you think getting sick is controllable.
Majority of the time it is, because most of our illnesses are psychosomatic, right? So like when we listen to the medication commercials and they run all the side effects down, if you pay attention, sometimes you hear somebody in the room say, I got all that shit and I don't even got to take that medicine. They identifying with the worst case scenario. Their mind is going to produce it in the body. It's just like in the Matrix where Morpheus told Neo the mind makes it real. The body just experienced what the mind put it through. But that's called psychosomatic illnesses. And the flip side to the psychosomatic illness is called the placebo effect.
And saying all that, Rod will start coughing.
So
I got you, Rod.
the placebo effect is they don't know why, but the mind, if it believes it's taking a drug and it's actually taking a sugar pill, the placebo, and the body miraculously heal without anything other than sugar. That's where they got the placebo double-blind study. In medicine, they got what they call a double-blind study and a triple-blind study. You got either 2 control groups or 3 control groups, right? What we've seen in 2020 with the shutdown was a triple-blind study. You got 3 groups of people. One group is getting saline. Another group is getting nanotech, and another group is getting snake venom. Right? All that shit experimental. So they running experimental trials out in the open instead of in the laboratory. Right? So that triple blind study, everybody didn't get the same thing. So if somebody tell you this one thing is going to cure anybody that had that poke. No, they're not all getting the same stuff. Under the snake venom category, there's like 4 or 5 different agents that's active in different batches depending on the manufacturer. In the nanotech, you got the mRNA, messenger RNA, that's programmed with a computer using nanotech, but they also have what's called freeform RNA, mRNA. That means it's not nanotech, but it's still got a message encoded in an RNA to be delivered to the DNA. Right? So you got all these different things are going on. They know who got what, but we don't know nothing. Just like the Tuskegee experiment.
And we appreciate your explanations. That's the answer, y'all. That's the answer. So again, this is Q&A with Rod. Send your comment, your questions to the comment section. Also, there is a link to join us on the panel. You have questions, open panel discussion. Now, I've mentioned King of Dynasty is here. Welcome again to
Peace,
Karmic
peace,
Dynasty.
peace,
Praise God.
peace to the
Yes,
family.
he's been a guest with Rod Hayes on Rod's Instagram. So go ahead, introduce yourself and open as you feel is best. King of Dynasty.
Gratitude,
Welcome.
gratitude to the family now, eternal, in the past, present, future, tapping in with us. I am King Adonis, Chief Unicorn, Semiasayu, Devlio Silohid Fetiavu. I am that which I am, and I'm here to help get you back to you. And I got some questions here and some guidance from the source, the Dark Mother, the mother mitochondria that is within us all.
So come on
So,
with the question.
so Chief Pontiac, gratitude for the alignment. Just a few things. Great gratitude for all that you do. Feel me for your existence. What does the 7-6 revolution look like to you?
So we talking 7-6 is the spirit of revolution, right? The spirit of rebellion. But it also means motion that revolves, a revolution. We trying to shift from the old paradigm to the new paradigm. A revolution in that is a 180. It's an about face. So we want to take the past and build a better future from what we've learned in reviewing the past, what they call historical research. By knowing where everybody made their mistakes, just don't do the dumb shit. Right? Don't do what everybody else done. They got their tail toe up. Right? So we looking at it microcosm, macrocosm, and the 76 is the code for the revolution based on the 200-year George Washington challenge from 1776. 1976 is the bicentennial, right? But remember, they got I think a 60-year extension or something to that effect. And the
60.
extension is because of the War 1812, which brought us to 2012, right? So we can't close nothing out before 2012. Ironically, the Mayan calendar said that everything closes out on 2012 and we go for a reset. So the turnaround, when you finally, okay, so we're going through what's the labor pains now. It's a drawn out labor process. When the baby started to come out is when you realize that all of your conspiracy theorists was telling you the truth and all of your mainstream media personalities are some bald-faced liars and they are agents of the government working to mentally enslave you. That realization hit real hard when they can no longer deny what they already know to be true. So when we talk about what the turnaround gonna look like or what the 76 revolution is about face, complete opposite of what we had before, a total different direction, right? We was moving away from righteousness into wickedness. Now it's time to turn the tables because now we can move away from the wickedness, which is our historical reference. When you see the wickedness, you know which direction not to go,
Right. And
right?
we're trying to navigate the waters, and it's the waters are as our consciousness, and it's being able to tap into different directions in consciousness. Because what I realized about the collective is a lot of people are drowning in the overflow of information. It's with the Aquarian age, it's about knowing stuff, right? But people's just knowing so many things is not really helping the collective. So being able to figure out which direction to go into, which is why you got to go within, and it goes back to the DNA, because the DNA is at this point in my journey now teaching me the mastery to become the master of masters, because literally it's just the waters in the body that the water is a superfluid. It is the medium that houses all life. and transmutes. It's the messenger of life. And once you get into the messages of the waters, like Masari Moto, because there's the hidden messages in waters. So now the hidden messages become, you start unraveling the messages from the body.
It's funny you use water as the reference. In the physical world, water is to the physical realm what spirit is to the etheric realm. Right? Water permeates everything in the 3D reality. And ether permeates everything above 4D and everything down to 1D. Right? So ether is the only constant. We call it dark matter in physical form, aka melanin. Right? The etheric ones, or the old ones, the Aetherians, are the ones who ascribe the times of the age according to the movement of the energy. We argue about the flat earth and the round earth, the hollow earth, the concave earth, the convex earth, and I've even seen people postulating the square earth. The irony of that is everybody right and wrong at the same time. That's called the paradoxes of reality. If you see creation in its wave form, your perception is before it go through the double splits and forms into the particle form, which makes you see the earth as a globe. We looking at the heliocentric diagram of moving through space around the sun. That's right and that's wrong, because it's also based on your perception of what portion of creation are you viewing. Einstein calls it spooky action at a distance, which gave way to the double slit experiment in physics, which showed that when you're not looking at something, it don't exist. Because where the attention goes, the energy flows, and it shows you a reality according to your perception. You have the protons going through the double slit, and they are waveform until somebody focuses attention, and then they collapse into what's called a solidified form. The reason is because everything we perceive in as 3D is taking place in the collective egregore, a thought form in the mind of the gods that's projecting itself off of itself. Right? So the spooky action at a distance was the discovery of the self of Einstein. That's when he had his awakening. Because he realized that whatever he paid attention to, he got a response that it shouldn't have been there according to the math until he paid attention to it. Then it altered.
That gets into the living mathematics in nature, because what I've grown to remember is how numbers don't lie, people do, right? So it's just like when the universe is throwing the numbers, which are symbols, you start following the symbology behind the numbers, and then everything just falls into syncretism. And it's so funny, because I literally was just sitting here just researching stuff, following a rabbit hole, a shoe, another master of masters, following down, going back to some ancient Egyptian history. It's the website is crystallink.com, and it says, in order to understand the gods of ancient Egypt, one must understand syncretism, and this is the Egyptian practice of linking.
You kind of broke up a little bit. Can you read that again?
All right. In order to understand the gods of ancient Egypt, one must understand syncretism. This is Egyptian practice of linking or combining different deities into the body or identity of a single, which is essentially omnipresence, because it's all possibility.
Okay, now let me do my Tahuti thing for you. In the hologram, all parts have all of the information as the whole in the hologram. So if you take one piece of the hologram off, you can see everything in the hologram that was in the whole hologram, right? Mental projection. And all is mind, including matter. This is how you get matter from mind. It's a binary system. What do that mean? It's a system that works off opposites. These opposites is not separate yet. On one side, you have a 1. And on the other side, you got an O, but they married, so they don't know that they separate yet. Big Bang comes in and slashes a mirror between the two of them. The side view looks like the Ankh, right? The side view is the O at the top, representative of the feminine nature of creation, reflecting the staff at the bottom, which is representing the masculine principle of creation, what we call the phallus and the yoni. In the mirror represents the sacred egg of creation that the two coming together produces, right? So, yep. So while you're looking at it, it starts to project out in a what we call mirror flip fashion in a series of 1s and O's. The series of 1s and O's is the binary code. Go back to the picture again for me, sweetie. This top circle right there is the O. The straight line at the bottom is the 1, right? And the separation in the middle is the mirror to make the 2 reflect the 1, right? Now, if you look, you see when the merger of the Ankhs, as it goes out from the center, goes through what we call geometric patterning systems. What the hell is that, Rod? Geometric patterning, right, is Fibonacci sequence, it's platonic solids, right? It's physics, it's metaphysics, it's quantum physics. And as the geometric forms form in different parts of the creation, you get different shapes. Yep. You see how the 1s and the 0s bend the curve and become light. Right? It's the focus of the energy. All of the focus is going to the light. All of the 1s and 0s are going to the light. You the light. When you learn your higher conscious language of the self, you got to learn self-talk and how to translate what your higher self telling you into the common language you speak. Right? So the higher self is going to tell you exactly what I'm telling you in the terms that helps you to understand it best. Right? Brings us to the God best. Right? All of the guys of Egypt had a purpose. That means they got a job. That means they had something to do for eternity. So what humans gonna do for eternity? You think they gonna just keep hunter-gathering for all of eternity, or you think they're gonna evolve into greater beings and start traveling the stars that they creating with their own consciousness along the way? And this is the God best. If you look at the ears, there's the representation of a part of the brain called the amygdala, right? Best is joyous and jovial energy. As a God, he comes off as the God best, and he has a description that goes with him. Every one of them got a description that goes with them that antiquity has allowed people like Albert Churchward, Sheikh Anta Diop, and others Yep. Now, if you can get a front view of the amygdala from both sides, what they call bilateral amygdala view, and you compare it to Best, then you'll see why Best is, because this amygdala is like a little finger sticking out the side of your brain. And when you feel good, they call it tickling the amygdala, it moves. This turns on energy centers that leads up to what's called the hood, which is right above the pituitary and pineal complex in the center of the brain. And this is the joy center. So you're trying to get to heaven, but you first got to go through your reptilian brain. You got to go through hell, your root chakra, and you have to raise your energy. Right. Now, this is what they call tickling the amygdala. If you look at the colors on the x-ray, it's showing you the activating energy of the amygdala. Now, if you go into Google and type in Best and amygdala, it's going to give you a side-by-side comparison to show you what I'm talking about. And when you see the side-by-side, it'll make a whole lot more sense what I'm saying. This is how your mind give you tools to teach with so that you can translate what your mind is telling you so other people can have another perspective to look at it so that they can put their own book of life back together. That's all we doing. Every one of our lives is the book of life that we fulfilling based on our eternal existence. Like, what we gonna do for eternity? Just gonna stand there and twiddle our thumbs? At some point, we gonna have to figure out something to entertain ourselves. You get bored for eternity doing nothing but just sitting around saying, "Yep, I'm God." How do I know I'm God? Right? I ride those codes. Those codes, learning those codes proves the divinity within because those codes opens your consciousness. But we get so judgmental with dogma that we can't really see what we're supposed to be as a humanity. And we were purposely deceived in that fashion.
And the Mingla there's a movie about like all the kids, like the government does something to all the kids, and essentially they test all the kids to see what color they are. If you're orange, you're extremely dangerous. Reds, hyper dangerous, and then the greens, the inverse, the greens, the blues, and the ones those are more safe. But the oranges are more, the reds they control fire. The oranges they're like super telepathic and control other vessels, and they scan each children based on their threat level, based off of these different colors, and they scan the amygdala in the show.
So what you're describing is exactly what they really do to us. But we don't know they do it. They do it in the laboratory under a microscope, looking at our blood as they put different antigens in there to see how the blood gonna react. Right? With Kirlian photography, they was able to cross-reference which chakra was active in the blood by what color you are in your auric field at birth. If you govern by the root chakra, you're going to be a hellraiser. The only thing that can temper that is that's Kirlian photography, right? So right now, the palm and the fingertips is projecting all the way from the root chakra. If it was projecting from the second chakra, it would be orange. If it was from the third chakra, it would be yellow, right? In the fourth chakra, the heart center, it'd have been green. Right. So this is the science that they used to verify what they were seeing in the blood, right? All this is ancient technology that they rediscovering. Most of it they never tell us about, right? The Curlian photography reading the aura tells them what your rank is in the spiritual realm. The hardest one to come from is the generation called the Onyx generation that precedes the rainbow generation of star seeds that they call what they call them
Indigos.
the indigo children. The Onyx seeds are the old souls that have to come back and close the age out for the next generation to bring in a new age of prosperity. All of us born before 1976, going back to like 1950, are Onyx seed. We the ones that supposed to be developed in a time of conflict and war so that we can bring about a resolution to conflict and war, because we are being programmed in the womb of the social conditions that need to be changed, and we become responsible to change it to allow the indigo children to imprint the future with prosperity and bounty in the golden age, because that's where we go from here.
The golden age of Aquarius.
Yep.
And
We exiting out of the age of Pisces. Pisces is head under the water. Everything you see is not what you see. It's slightly off and a little out of focus, right? The only way to see underwater is either you got to have goggles on, or you have to have conditioned your eyes over generations to swim underwater like those water tribes have done. Their priests, the priests of the water, we call them waterbenders in Avatar. Right. They represent three states of water that comes across as Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio in the zodiac. And they are the ones who can see what's going on under the water. The Onyx generation is a generation of leaders, strategists, organizers, and investigators that solve the problems of the old age in order to bring in a new age without any of that dead weight going in forward. Right. So all we doing is creating a pattern to navigate the hologram and get the maximum benefit for the suffering. That's all we doing. We read the energy and then we fix the problem, get the people back the power where it belongs, and sooner or later somebody's going to usurp somebody and it's going to go right back into the next cycle. And then they're going to be creating a new religion that's going to have a new devil to polarize the people according to Alpha, Aleph, the One, and Omega, the end, the circle, the cipher. The Alpha reflects the Omega because you always have to go back to the beginning. And you can't get here without going through the cipher, the womb. Big Mama made sure that she imprint every one of us by only giving us one way to get out. It's an Arabic. The Arabic is a straight line. If you go to the right of the screen, that he'll show you an Arabic Aleph, straight line. Bottom of the Ankh. Right? And you see as other languages, it makes slightly different symbols. Syriac, right? Aramaic, X marks the spot, direct hit. Hebrew, X. Phoenician, a letter K.
Or if you rotate it, it's a letter A.
Yeah. Anarchy.
Alpha or that the Masonic compass that
Yep.
that ties
With the
in.
line through it. See, when you flip it to an A, right, and put the line through the A, the line that goes through the alpha is on its way to the omega, right? Because you can't get through the alpha without having to end up in the omega. You gotta start at the beginning in order to get to the end. This is the compass and the square. Just the geometric Masonic symbols. The compass is for the circles, and the square is to draw the rectangles, the sharp 45-degree angles, right? These are navigation tools as well as architectural tools, because you're using the same thing when you travel in the ocean and you reading, measuring the distance of the star from your exact location. Just telling you where you at, right? By telling us that south is down and north is up, we automatically disorient it. But how can north be up when the sun is above the south? Because that's why it gets hotter on the southern hemispheres, because it's getting more sunlight. The northern hemisphere is getting less sunlight, right? So that means that they don't want us to know about the Queensland. See, we call Australia the Queensland because it's a perch. That's a stool, what they call it's from in Africa. The stool is a seat of power. That's the seat that's looking over the world. But if you don't see it as the seat that it is, it's actually a stool, then you won't know that the Queensland, Australia, is called that not because of the lizard bitch. It's the Queensland because that's how she looks down over the rest of the world. Right? So when we start to see everything in its proper orientation, it starts to straighten us and make, what the heck did I just see? If you pull up a chart of how your vision automatically flips the images, this is called reversing the Lucifer effect. Right? The Lucifer effect is the lens flipped. To reverse it, you have to know that you're walking upside down the whole time. So you get a diagram that shows light flip in the optics, optical light flip, and it'll show you, yep. See the actual image, the eye, what your eyes see is the upside down in the middle, right? But the brain going to translate it and reorient it according to perception. So we really walking upside down wherever the hell we at. But it's all an optical illusion. So all of these is parts of the hologram observing itself, and the explanation with the images that she pulling up has a side effect of connecting dots in the uncharted parts of the mind. And they're going to take effect immediately, but they will all take effect and produce an effect, and they call that talking in light codes. But the light codes is known among some of the tribes as Nuwapu, sound right reason, right? And we know Malachi York brought us that. And then you have the others who see the military aspect, and then you got those who see the tribal aspect. We disoriented with the tribes because they told us they was gangs. So when we tribing up, they calling us gang banging. When we trying to bump shoulders with our brothers for hierarchy, they turned us into killing each other. When that ain't how that's supposed to win. It was a training program, and they usurped it by putting infiltrators in our midst. And they told us they was going to do it. They done it. We caught them doing it, and our people still don't believe they did it. They told us that anybody come teach us this, they're going to remove them out of our midst so we have no leadership. Without leadership, you ain't going nowhere. You're just standing in the pasture. You're not going nowhere without leadership. A leadership got to come from people like this man, Dr. York, that's not only telling you, but he's showing you where to go find the information out yourself. Right? And then he's letting you know on a level that once you realize who you is, all this shit becomes easy. The stuff that they teach us in college and universities, we used to teach 6-year-olds. They can't even read Aesop's fables right now as an adult. It's too complicated. Yep, infiltrators. So they came in as Spaniards, conquistadors, right? Challenge us to a war. They wanted what was already ours, and we wasn't giving it up. You can't sell your mama. They want to buy the land. They can't understand that because for the right price, they'll sell you their mama and their daughter and their brother. So this is how you become to know where they at and how they stick out in our community, because we don't believe in selling the land, because we don't believe in selling our mama and our sisters and our daughters out. We're going to stand shoulder to shoulder with our brothers and fight every motherfucker that come down here, no matter how outnumbered we is. That's our culture. That's why they call us the Braves, right? And the Braves is just Cleveland Indians. You know, the Browns. And you know Mr. Brown in them, right? Got one in every city. That means that we got a family connection to every family clan in every city. So now how are we going to activate our power? Right? The leadership can't wait on the grassroots to tell them what to do because they don't know shit from Shinola. So first, the leaders got to solve the problem before they can even introduce the solution to be implemented to the people. Right? But they got to send out the little drummer boy. They becomes the drum major, leading the band, telling everybody this shit is over. Babylon the Great has fallen. The lizard bitch is dead. Lizzie's in a box. The Pope is a robot in a hologram. They put that motherfucker under the bed at night. The Vatican is done. We went and got our 650 tons of gold from them. It's on the record. It's not hard to find. The last to topple was the military-industrial complex of the cabal under Dwight D. Eisenhower that made treaties with beings that's not from here behind our back. He tell you about it. All you got to do is look up military-industrial complex speech by Dwight D. Eisenhower on YouTube, and it'll come right up. And he's going to be warning you that he just made a deal with the devil. Hey, hey, lizards in the box. That's the Pope. That's a robot. If you really look at him, you can tell.
Now, how they sit down before the
So when the military start running up in the royal places over there, everybody pointed to the Pope. They gave that motherfucker up so quick. And when they got the Pope, he gave up the bitch in the basement. The Archon. Right? Once the Archon was captured, that was the enemy's queen. It was a wrap. Y'all don't know nothing about that because y'all don't know how to read what's going on in the culture. Because on the Wind Talker channel, all of the chiefs know what's going on, but the average Joe don't want to come out of the slumber that was a spell called Kingu cast upon us in a Masonic lodge. And we was feathers versus fezzes. That's why you got good Moors, us, and you got dirty Moors, them. Right? We took on the title of Moor, Negroes, and niggas and slaves to fight the war. Right? And each one of those was a competitive batch that was pitted against each other. That's crazy. That thing around the Statue of Liberty is a drag queen. That thing around his head is the crest of the lizard bitch Archon that was under the Vatican. France lost Toussaint and they lost to Chief Pontiac. So when they had to leave, they sent this back to tell us that it was a drag queen running the show. So now we in a drag race across the land trying to track down a drag queen that's trying to pass a woman for a man. So they want to switch up the gender of the children to confuse the chiefs. But I know a mare from a stallion. You can't fool me.
Sick.
Did you say Meg the Stallion?
I said I know the difference between a mare and a stallion.
Oh, I thought you said Meg the Stallion. My bad.
They ain't catch that. They ain't catch that. So just for a little clarification, a mare is a female horse and a stallion is a male horse.
That part.
Okay, Karmic Dynasty, we gonna stop. They didn't catch that, Rod. They didn't catch that.
I caught the video when that thing jumped out from under his legs. I seen that video. But the whole game that's being played is to keep us from ever knowing who he is, so we can't never assert our position on the land to evict the imposters, the invaders, the colonizers. We thinking that everybody Caucasian is a colonizer, but if you look up free white person in law, it clearly states these are not Caucasian.
Yeah.
But so we had to overrun the institutions with friendly pale faces. If you pull up Ellis Island, this is where all the pale faces came from. But first they had to genetically annihilate the first batch that came in as slaves to the Moors. You know, the Irish, the white niggas, right? The remedy was one drop of blood to tie them to a tribe in order to give them a tribal right as an adopted tribe that falls under an umbrella tribe called Cherokee. So when they come with these umbrella terms, what we call them catch terms, is to get multiple groups of people that ascribe to a similar concept to group themselves under those banners, because that's how they know how they miseducating people successfully or unsuccessfully. right? So in the protocols, it say to control the education of the Goyim. Why you want to control the education? To say because you don't want them to learn nothing that's going to give them pride in who they are and allow them to reach their highest potential, because then they won't allow you to subjugate them. Right? So what do? You got to feed them the dogma. Who writes history? The victors, right? The victors is going to always tell history in the way of you being proud of your own defeat. But when you realize that we ain't never been defeated, there's been an ongoing, protracted struggle for 500 years, it changes the paradigm in the mind that allows you to see the picture a little clearer. It's just like flipping the Lucifer lens for seeing it for what it is. We all finna go watch David Copperfield make this jet disappear in this studio, right? We all know the goddamn jet ain't went nowhere. Oh, wow, it was such a fascinating deception. This is where we caught up at, in the fascination of the deception. Yeah, two groups of royal families, the ones that was from over here in the land of Tahuti. The other group of royal family primarily concentrated in hiding in Switzerland, but they had communities in upstate New York and upstate New Jersey when they came over here as conquistadors, Dutch, French, Portuguese, English. They still looked like us. When they came up with the idea to replace us by making us believe that we from somewhere else called Africa, then once they run this on us, we disassociate from the land. You can only lose your birthright by forfeiture or surrender. I ain't giving up shit and I ain't backing fucking down. So now what? So now they have to follow galactic law of a free will universe. To restore the balance back, you got to put the power where the power belongs. If you put the power where the power belongs, the machine to run the way that it was created to run, which means it's going to have zero entropy. Right? And this is how you eradicate the pain and the suffering. You got to create a new paradigm, and the new paradigm allows you to see from a new direction. The paradigm shifts. And that's why it's important for us to know we ain't coming with no goddamn ships. And if another nigga call me African American, I'm telling you, but I can't go that route.
That's what we coming through
to speak it till I'm blue in the face. They know I ain't from no motherfucking Africa. I'm a Mississippi Clay Dirt Walker.
We come with the 11-111 paradigm shift to unite all the mothers to come together with one sign, one sound, one thought, one intention for me to get our shit back, essentially, because it's time is now, and everybody can continue to talk about it, but we got to be about it. And I'm choosing to let it be now instead of later.
Mm-hmm. This all after the fact ass picture. That ain't how they told us at first. At first they said we was ankle to ankle on shelves, packed like sardines. Gas chamber in a week. You wouldn't have made it. Now remember, they didn't have toilets. They were shitting on the poop deck. Right? So can you imagine if they was giving them bathroom breaks? Come on now. They would have been dropping tons and tons of shit off that ship. Then where the urine gonna go? This the bullshit they told us. That's Notre Dame University's cathedral. That's what that is. That's the schematics from the blueprints of a building. It's called Notre Dame University cathedral. That's where they cooked that plot up to tell us that we came on slave ships. And that's why it's a perfect overlay. That's the inside. You want the aerial view. You see the aerial view when you do the side by side, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The part that burned up right there, that's the slave ship. It should be an overhead, direct overhead view. Because when you put it side by side, the right there would look like the front of the cathedral, right? That's the middle bar on the ship. Pull back up the slave ship, now you can see what I'm talking about. The part in the middle used to be a steeple there. If you can look, you could see the scaffolding going across the middle. The slave ship is the blueprint for this construction. You see in the middle? That's that part that was in the middle where the steeple was. You see it? You see what I'm talking about? Look in the middle of this, and you're going to see they got a cross section in the middle. Yep, going up and down right there. On the building, this is where the facade for the front door is. Go back to the building again. You see where the scaffolding is going over the top? And then you got this, it comes around to the facade and go to the front door. You see what I'm talking about? You could see the cross on it now, the steeple. Remember I said there used to be a steeple on top? That cross section right there, right, that's the cross section of the ship. That's the long way of the ship. That's the middle section of the ship. In the what look like ribs, that's the bow of the boat, the bottom of the boat. It's just upside down.
And it ties into sacred geometry because they got the 14 rods. It goes into the 7-spoke wheel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is this is the same ship construction. It's just reversed for and put on the land. This is where they came up with that bullshit at. But it's not only that, it's architectural because they build stories into the buildings. It's Masonic. This would be the front of the ship, the round part of the ship. If you go to the back of it, you'll see what the back is flat, just like on the ship. But from an overhead view, so you got aerial views, but not until you get the overhead view and do a layover will you really see it clear. It's just the blueprint, because that's where the blueprint of the idea come from. Yep. Now I got a I did this on one of my Instagram pages. I did an overlay of this with that slave ship, and it fit perfect. You see where the cross section was on the ship I showed you? You see where that's what I was talking about now? Yep. Yep. That section was the cross section. And then where we said where the bottom of the boat ribs, that's where all of the people was lined up around the outside. Pretty interesting stuff, ain't it?
Yeah,
I
it
thought
do
that
look
was
like oars.
I, I was so fascinated when I was looking at that. I was like, that's some smart ass shit.
Hmm. Have you heard about the harmonic convergence, or like the year of Wow, essentially aligning with the new like Mayan calendar that is aligned with like, because I've been watching time and space, right? And it's been directly aligned with the Gregorian calendar. So like the degrees of the day are aligned with the number, the daily number, and that's why you got like the sun and moon happening in these conjunctions in the way that they have been in to the different aspects. And then like there's also other like blue, this blue has been playing out a lot, and it's because it's such a high, it's blue is the highest vibration of wisdom, truth, and excuse me. And then like this blue is being highlighted on so many different fronts. And I'm on a 28-day cleanse right now, which is alignment with a moon cycle, and it's a regiment of like blue spirulina and blue green algae, and it comes from this from Klamath Lake in Oregon. And this algae is right by Mount Shasta, or it's getting like the energy of the alignment. And then the eclipse that happened, it would also over the lake and Mount Shasta. So like doing on this cleanse is been supplying me with, I've been receiving messages from nature, the dark mother, and Gaia, like nature herself, about how we are aligning and moving into the paradigm shift, because the time is now. And it also just goes into back to the 7-6 revolution, because 7-6 is my birthday.
Yeah. It's also 13. That's the Queen Mother Seal. Right. So the 6 is man, 7 is the perfected man, and G is the seventh letter made for geometry. But they say it's God. But God is Gad. That's one of the children of Israel. So they've been deceiving us the whole time about the identity of God.
What about how does that tie into the tribe of David?
Which David? See, the Bible was a script that the dirty Moors brought over here and put us in what's called a 400-year contract. The only way to get out of the script is to reenact it and jump off, right? So we recognize the spell they put us under with the Bible. It's called the Bible spell,
Right.
right? We recognize the use of the god Amen, which is a self-conjure to make us pretend to be mortals, right? And we recognize when they used the blood conjures that they was using Babylonian blood magic, because any good mystic is going to learn about Babylonian blood magic. Any good Christian, Jew, or Muslim is going to know about the Babylonian captivity of the ones they call the Jews, where they came out with the Talmud and the Mishnah, where you can read parts of the Babylonian blood magic and Babylonian money magic in the Talmud and the Mishnah, right? Because they telling you how to oppress a people so you can maintain a superior position on them using the sin rights. That's how they say you are all sinners, because you was born under the conditions of Babylonian blood magic, the sacrifice, this is my blood, drink of it. Babylonian sex magic, the fornication of the wicked, the abuse of the children, and Babylonian money magic, the harnessing of the energy of the people as a resource to control the way that they can move by limiting their access to the resources they produce.
That's interesting. How'd you bring that up, right? Because I was in the research that I was doing here before I was brought here, right? I was searching something called the Amorites, right? And it says the Amorites were Semitic speaking groups who appeared in Babylonian and missionaries and workers after 2000 BC. And that's the year I was born, 76, 2000. But that's just anyway. And then it goes like their names of the kings is Ra Sin and Warward Sin, son of Murder, Kuder Maba, like just it's the sin, and then the sin goes into the Amorites. But I got the Amorites from the Semitic language from the Bronze Age that goes into the Akkadians and the Amorites in Babylonia, which ties into the Arabian, like different languages, because I was studying language. And then it goes in the earliest form of it goes into Afro-Asiatic languages, which they claim to be extinct.
They still say languages over there.
Exactly, but Wikipedia.
When they say a language went extinct, that means that the people who originally speak the language will not help them create a codex to put it in a book and allow them to use that. That won't happen. It get blocked out from recording the language because none of the people won't cooperate in the translation.
Because it's an old tradition.
Right.
Just the native.
They'll learn the language of the settler and talk to him in his language, but they won't never give him their language that they talk to when the settlers ain't around.
Right.
That's how you keep the integrity of your culture. That's why they say they went extinct, because they won't let them analyze their language, because they won't speak it around. They speak French around French. They speak Afrikaans around the Boers and the Dutch. Right? But when they go home, the Zulu speak Zulu. The Bantu speak Bantu. The Kikuyu speak Kikuyu. Right? all of the tribes all over the world, we all know what a Mau Mau revolution is. And Mau Mau revolution is the bloodiest revolution we gonna ever wage against the enemy. The only way we can't go into a Mau Mau revolution is that the enemy that we perceive as the enemy is not the real enemy. Then your efforts to call an effective Mau Mau revolution is hampered by the spirit. You're looking in the wrong direction. And when we look back at history, we see that happen several times, and we have to readjust and reevaluate our losses. Because in the losses, it's going to give you the keys to victory, because it's going to expose the dirty hands at play. They look like us. Them motherfuckers ain't us. They infiltrated us at every level of the game. They was good, but they not great. Right? So as great as they became, they still haven't reached our median levels. Because all the stuff we talking about right now, like I said, they universities, we was teaching it to 7, 8-year-olds. So now we talking to adults, bodies with 6 and 7-year-old psychological development operating in the perverted system that takes child sexual curiosity and exaggerates it, and then twists it to the will of the ones trying to take control. They fighting us at every level, and we ain't even fighting back. And the easiest way to fight back is to become aware and adjust to the circumstance. Just become aware and adjust to the circumstance. Put yourself in the best position that if everything shut down, you can take care of your family long enough for everything to boot back up. So that takes us back to the 76 revolution.
Which is the 12, which is the activation of the 12-strand DNA. Because you get the 12, which is the wheel of time, which is your zodiac, which is your star map or your navigational tool map, because it's in your hands, it's in your palms. You get the palmistry. It's another science that's getting you back to you.
You ever notice in the auto industry how they start making cars smaller and more streamlined, and they use different materials, right? Because the science of the automobile is evolving. The 12-strand DNA is obsolete. That's an old model from a different cycle. All of that information is on the human 2-strand DNA helix. It's the same amount of data. We just went from using a whole living room to store our computer to putting it on the phone. Same principle apply. So when they say that the 12 and 13 strand DNA are reactivating, they right, but it's reactivating in the same structure that's available now because it's been advanced. The science has advanced beyond the need to have that many strands.
Right. That's why it's ones and zeros. It's the Satan.
The mirror, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and just like you just did that, that's how it explains itself to you when it run it back what I said. That's when you tuning in to the frequency of what's being taking place.
Yeah. In real time, family.
Right. So when you see that we used to be giants, you got our Titan forms as mountains around the world as memorials to the time when the technology was clunky. It's oversized, big, musty car. Now we in sports cars and SUVs.
We in superhuman super suits.
Right. So we don't have to fight dinosaurs no more. So we don't need to be big enough to fight dinosaurs. That contract and that time frame and those cycles ended long ago. Most of us don't know we coming out of a nuclear winter. There was an atomic war fought on Earth, and this is why they keep saying that they keep keeping stuff secret. A sizable portion of Earth ain't here no more. Another excuse for us to downsize the hominid. None of those mythical creatures is allowed to come in mythical form. They have to come in as a human now. But if you really look at them, you can see the ogres and you can see the different. Yeah, you can see it all.
The trolls and the dragons. My. Those dragons, they pop up in the sky. You never know what you really is, which one is which.
But that was look, that was done for the same purpose that we was put into this Kali Yuga in this Kanja war in the fight for America. So they become intricately tied together with the mirror effect, microcosm, macrocosm. And when you go search the record, you find what the discussion was about, what the great debauchery was, who did it, and find out that we in a whole war on Earth that started somewhere else. Kali Ma, that's the protective instinct of the mother. She cannot lose. That's what you're looking at. They want you to interpret that as a horrible sign or a horrible demon.
That's beauty.
But this is a literal depiction of a mother rage while she's protecting her young throughout all parts of nature, embodied into one idea, time, Kali Ma. Just so happened to be the patriot goddess of the thugs, the thuggy. Right? Throughout all time, one thing that never changed is a mother's love for her child. That's if she's truly a mother. Because everybody that give birth not truly a mother. And that's why we got different ranks in the human species, just like they got different ranks in other species. We pack animals. We run in herds.
Wolves.
We run in flocks. We click up. We tribe up. We link up with our crew. All the time, we just following the nature. When you start knowing your culture and take it back to nature, then you know who your people is because they doing certain stuff that other people don't like. Just by being they self. And that's what make us become targeted individuals.
King Adonis, did you have any more questions? There you go. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Because sources has been working where I've been in the lab. Lab. So, because getting back into like the DNA, right? Because it's a binary. It's either on or off, or either it is or it ain't, right? So like in the activation of the internal, right? How is like it playing into, I don't want to say real time, because time, like I am Timmy Time Titan, Timothy Adonis, but it just the words that are being projected on the collective basis aren't necessarily aligning with the vibrational tones that is being pushed into the algorithm. So what is the sound resonance that you are recommending being projected to the collective?
I'm more focused on the visual imagery. Like everybody preaching their gloom and doom shit, I don't see that.
Right.
I see some upheavals in transition because it's just nature, right? And by getting the women to get back into their feminine, it soothes the earth's energy. And we going into a golden age. So if we do all these things simultaneously, we can only go to a golden age. So the women got to tap into the honey inside, right? And the men, we have to strap our testicles back on and stop putting on these tight ass jeans. And that's a figurative term meaning put on man pants and stop trying to wear lady pants. Because the enemy is teaching our children, our sons, to wear lady pants, we as men are supposed to intervene. And then you find out they force converting them most of the time through molestation. That's even worse. Now they trauma bonding with their victims. And the only thing they want their victim to do is go make some more victims. They could feed that energy. So by refocusing the energy of what we want to see in the reality, don't let them hijack what we're looking at and feed us false information that leads us to our destruction. Then we focus on the future becoming a golden age, because it's going to happen.
Gratitude. That's all the questions I got for the night, family. But the revolution is here. Phoenix Rising. Much love to the family. There's always opportunity and growth to grow and expand in the land. Tell me, the Dark Mother has awakened in the realm, and the Earth has responded to this awakening. And this is why the revolution paradigm 7-6 Cancer coming through to you with messages to bring you back to you. Much love.
Show us that book again. That's dope. It's also calligraphy.
I got a phoenix, I got an elephant, I got a few totem animals, but the wolves, I'm a lone wolf, and then they threw me out by myself. But
So, do you ever heard of a Zeta wolf?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Zeta wolf handpick his pack. No, he's not gonna run with one. He gonna either be a lone wolf or he gonna pick his pack. He's not gonna just be an alpha in the pack that he was in, because they might not operate how he. I don't get down like that. Y'all ain't solid enough for me, or we ain't on the same frequency. He'll dip out at an early age too. Take care of himself. But when he come and start putting this pack together, he'll fight a whole pack just to win one member of that pack. You don't want the rest of them.
Yeah, I got kicked out of so many different spiritual groups. That's why I stay away from the spiritual community, because there's a lot of false information or false light in the spiritual community.
You got to remember, our enemy has been in charge of our perception of in all of these organized communities, even though they're loosely organized. They still looking from the perception the enemy told them to look from 90% of the time. So they still going to mislead, even though their heart might be in the right place. Their information fucked up. But it ain't all the way fucked up. It's just enough to keep them from seeing straight. right? We call that getting stuck to the right.
That's why those who walk the left-hand path know why we are ready to revolutionize.
Yep.
Gratitude, joy, much love.
Gratitude for you being here, joining us today with your excellent questions. Definitely thought provoking. If you would share your outro. And again, welcome to Karmic Dynasty, King Adonis.
Yes, actually, I had something that was given to me, and just give me one moment. So, this came in at 21:03 on 11:14. In love, we give thanks to the body and to the spirit within. Though we are high and mighty, the earth has brought forward her Power Rangers and multiverse spider wombs to ascend in a way never ever been experienced before. We encourage you to strengthen the love and connection you consciously have with your heart space and your mental. The revolution begins now. Gratitude.
That was dope.
Much
Go
love.
ahead, my bad. Go ahead. What were you saying? My bad, King Adonis.
No, I was saying much love, just gratitude and just appreciation for being present.
Peace, peace, gratitude. We have here with us Rod Hayes. He said y'all know who he is, so I ain't gotta say his name around here no more. Let's get that clear.
It's on.
All right.
It's on the screen too.
You know what I mean? Y'all better learn how to read. Hooked on Phonics, Rosetta Stone. Go subscribe to somebody. But around here ain't no reading classes today. Rod Hayes, if you would share your closing thoughts, conversations with us.
I don't have much to say. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you and the King of Dynasty.
I appreciate you being here. All right, y'all. So we're gonna leave out of here. I am Joy Ishram of Karmic Dynasty. And I'm gonna see y'all next time because this was a surprising time for me. I love Rod Hayes. Y'all better don't play with him. Peace from Karmic Dynasty. Rod has the floor.